All right, a lot of folks will be interested in today's Gulf Coast Spotlight. We're talking about meme stocks, and here to explain what's going on with that, and specifically one of them, Chris Burns, is here with Burns Estate Planning and Wealth Advisors. Chris, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We always have interesting topics to share, to talk about with our audience in terms of investing, portfolios, retirements, and all that kind of stuff. This is something a lot of younger investors have gotten involved in. It's Gamestop, and the stock has been on and off over the past few years. What's happening here?
Feels like we're in 2021 again, yeah?
Yeah.
And so, kind of basically to bring everyone up to speed, we saw a huge run up in what they call meme stocks. AMC, movie theaters,
Yep.
and then also GameStop. Those two companies really were kind of at the forefront. We saw Reddit kind of come in versus like a David versus Goliath type thing. They saw some opportunity, and the biggest losers out of that has been hedge funds.
So Reddit, a bunch of people on this online conversation platform, so to speak, they all band together to form a strategic plan to go after this. Basically, how does that all work?
And so what we've seen and what kind of brought it up for conversation today is that one of the lead people that kind of rallied the troops last time has kind of come back after a couple years of zero contact. And so I'm surprised that we're even talking about it today, but we get a lot of questions asked about that. I mean, this is the second most thing besides cryptocurrency of kind of things that get asked on a monthly basis. And so what we're seeing is that a lot of institutions are trying to short the company, and a lot of people aren't fans of that. And so when they see opportunities of saying they've overextended themselves, over-leveraged themselves, that's kind of where these groups can kind of band together and come in and play the opposite side of that. So that what we've seen over the last 2 days is over $2 billion of losses for short sellers.
Wow, that's wild stuff. And so to put it in somewhat of a context, Warren Buffett's advising strategy has always been these major companies that are decades in existence and seem to exceed, bought them in the earlier days and stuck with them through all this. Whereas GameStop and AMC, those companies themselves weren't doing amazing when this all started.
Absolutely not. I mean, GameStop was talking about bankruptcy.
They were nearing bankruptcy, yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up Warren Buffett. The whole buy and hold strategy, that is not the plan of action you want to take with these companies. You may buy something before lunch and sell it right at lunch. I mean, some of the moves that we've seen 30, 40, 70% swings up and down. So it's kind of really hard to judge that. Think of it like gambling is the best way that I can say it, because there really isn't any fundamentals that you can go behind and say, this is why it's doing this today.
Okay, so with that in mind, as a estate planner and wealth advisor, when someone comes to you who's wanting investment advice and they say, hey, should I buy GameStop this morning? What are you talking to these guys about?
We really got to see where they're at. I mean, if you're saying, hey, these are dollars that I'm planning on using for income like this year or next year with retirement, you probably would not want to risk something like that. But if you've got a few extra dollars where you're looking to maybe make an opportunity, these are things that you can take a look at. But I would always really, really cautious people when they look at things like this.
Depends on the individual's financial situation, if they have some extra income that they can gamble with on something like this. Basically,
this would be one of those things where I would say invest, hope for the best, but you also have to be willing to see the zero number.
All right, so if you have questions about GameStop, actual portfolio planning, retirement stuff, all these sorts of things, how can our viewers contact you?
Best way, as always, is our website, burnsestate.planning.com. It's going to give you all of the information about how to contact us, also some information on our advisors themselves, so that when you do call us, you'll have some details to talk about.
All right, sounds great. We're going to have that contact on fox10tv.com under the Gulf Coast Spotlight. Go check that out.